Welcome to the Woman's Legacy Podcast Show. This podcast is for all women identifying as trailblazers, entrepreneurs, pioneers, visionaries, and or priestesses who have already built so much. You've maybe already made the big money. You've maybe built a successful business. You may have your dream partner. You may have manifested the thing, and you want more. And as you already have built so much, you do not necessarily want faster and higher, but deeper, more meaning, more pleasure, more impact. You ask, what now? What's my next evolution? My next era? My next step? Here to build a legacy. If you can't take your followers and fame to the grave, what do you want to build? What do you want to leave behind? How do you want to have lived? What is your legacy? That we explore in this podcast. I'm your host, Julia, and with my brand Luxury Goddess, I have been a coach and mentor since 2018. I have made over 4 million euros in the German marketplace alone. I have emigrated with my beautiful family, as we always have dreamed of. I've moved from trauma bonding to a beautiful, thriving relationship of many years with my dream man. I travel, I love my community, I love my life, and continually expand into innovation. More bliss, more heartfelt service, here to build a legacy. So if you resonate with this and are on a similar mission, my work in this podcast is for you. Let's dive into today's episode. Enjoy. Welcome to today's episode. I want to make sure that you know how this podcast works. So even though I'm repeating myself, if this is the first episode that you tune into, I want you to know that this whole podcast is like a book, and every episode is a chapter, and one leads to the other. But of course, each title is exactly what we explore in each episode. So if this is exactly what you're looking for right now, then it's perfect and it's full circle. So in this podcast, until this point, we've explored, of course, who this podcast is for. I also did an episode about me, so you can get to know me as your host. And then we explored for the first time, as the real first content episode, what is your next evolution era? What is your legacy, right? And the next episode, last week, we explored why. What is the motivation? What is the real truth behind that? And today I want to deepen the idea of what the legacy is and what it is that you want to do or be about. And I want us to deepen that episode, meaning what is it really that you want to bring forth? What is this life about for you? So we're also contemplating today a little bit, why am I here? Why are we on earth? What can we do here in the best way? And how can we serve or nourish exactly that we find out is true to us, right? So if I find out for me as my truth, I'm here to have fun, this is a playground, then what is the best way for me to experience this? When I think about the purpose being we all want to ascend, then what is my legacy then, right? So let's talk about that. So I want to share my perception, and I want to invite you to feel into your perception of this life. So do you think you're only here this once? Do you feel like you're a soul, you're incarnate, and you've incarnated many times before? Do you feel you have many soul lives and then this is one of them? Or do you not believe in the afterlife and not believe in incarnation, and do you believe it's just once? Do you believe there's many more planets in this universe and more life on Earth or on other planets? What do you believe? Now, I'm going to offer my perspective. I'm going to be very honest with you about what I believe, because this is how I want you to treat me. This is how I want to treat you. I believe in your power. We see eye to eye, so I have nothing to hide. And I don't have to water it down. This is who I am. If you don't like it at all, if you feel like, no, like this is not my podcast, then perfect. That's good to find out. That's great. And then, that's good. Like we can just have our separate lives. That's fine. But if you find out even more, oh, wow, that really resonates. I've never thought of that. Then even greater that I share what I share. And then if it's just one perspective for you to see in contrast, no, I don't believe it. I believe it like that. But thank you for sharing. Then that's perfect too. So either way, I believe we are the strongest person in the room when we can respect the opinion of the other without having to be right or wrong, without having them believe what we believe, but understanding we can all be on this earth and co-create it in a way where we all have a place without having to have one person be right about something. We can all be right because it's our truth. So just wanted to say that. So I personally came to believe in my life in the past years and years that there's so many planets with life on them. I believe that there's even the, how do you say, the Pleiadian? I don't know if you say it like that. Let me know if you understood me or not. But the planet that is called to be the spiritual home for many humans here on Earth. And I believe personally that we are all one. We are all one love. And we decided to experience ourselves. Because if we're just one, there's no contrast to that oneness. And so we can't really experience the oneness because there's no contrast to it. It's just there's no way to experiencing it in the oneness. And this is just how I think it is. And I truly believe that wherever that is, there is no such concept as that. We don't use language as we do here on Earth. There's no such thing as the mind in this way. So we're very limited here in this way. So we grasp concepts that are just ideas of how it could feel or look like. I think in the end it's still different because there we don't talk. We just communicate. We use telepathy and it's just feeling more, and we can communicate with. I mean, that's even just in the fifth dimension already. We can communicate with animals and plants and all the things. So I personally believe we decided as this one thing, let's separate in many, many parts that we call souls to be able to experience ourselves, to be able to experience life, to experience duality. And so I think that we can incarnate on many different planets. And I also believe that there's planets like Earth where you can experience suffering in 3D. But I honestly believe that this time on Earth is like no other planet where we can have 5D in 3D. We can operate in higher dimensions on this physical plane. And that is a very unique experience. We can ascend while being anchored and rooted in this body and here on Earth. And that is a special experience. If this excites you to hear, if you feel like, oh, there's more to this, I want to deepen, I recommend Conversations with God. The audiobooks on Audible, for example. And I personally love the fourth one. I just love audiobook number 4 because it's very relevant to our times. Everything that happens on Earth right now just makes a lot of sense when you listen to audiobook number 4 of Conversations with God. And if you want me to talk about these things more, I absolutely can and will. You can just let me know. But of course, we want to focus on you and your legacy. But in my opinion, that's a part of it. Because if I know what I believe to be true about my existence, obviously I can make it mean so much more and make so much more out of it. And that's why I love thinking about these things. I personally love it so much anyway. I love the topics of ethics and philosophy. It's just so much fun for me. If you want to explore this in an edutainment way or just in an entertainment way, more entertainment than edutainment, more than education, it's really entertainment. I love the series The Good Place on Netflix. That was a lot of fun, because it was a lot about philosophy and the afterlife, and it was fun. Okay, so I personally believe that. I believe that we decided this. I believe that it is a privilege to be on Earth right now because we're in such shifting times. From what I know about this Earth, that we already were in the fifth dimension once. That was in the times of Avalon, Atlantis, so the things that you might know about this, or maybe you've heard this already. And there we had the matriarchy, and even beyond patriarchy and matriarchy, we had just balance. It was balance. And it was, yes, the feminine that creates, the feminine, the intuitive feminine that births the idea, right? So it stems from the feminine always, but it's hand in hand, feminine and masculine, and man and women as well, right? So feminine and masculine are energies. We all have them inside of us, each man and each woman and each being on this earth. Of course, as women, we're intrinsic feminine beings. We are intuitive beings. We feel, we have a heart, always out in the open if we dare to. And as men have more their masculine forth as an intrinsic being. Like it's at the core of them. And if you don't like when I speak about this in this way, and you prefer inclusive language and diversity, I can say that I'm not the person for you. I respect everything. I respect all the ways to be in this world and to identify as and all the things. But this is how I see the things in the world. This is how I see femininity, masculinity, and this is how I teach and how I am happy in this life, understanding the topics. If you resonate with that, perfect. If you don't like it at all and you want to leave, that's great too. And if you think differently, but you're interested in hearing another perspective, then that's great as well, right? So I just wanted to make sure I say that, because I'm not the right person if that is important for you. And I just want to be very open and honest about that. Okay, so I personally believe there's so many souls that stand in line to be on Earth right now because we have these shifting times. We were once already ascended, but then however it happened, and we can speak about that in another episode, we decided to descend again, to remember and to have that human experiment of forgetting and remembering. And this led to a lot of forgetting, a lot of conditioning, and just a lot of heartbreak for this earth and for the feminine. And I mean, earth is nature, is feminine as well, right? So it's not about women. It's about all femininity in all of us, inside of all of us. And so this is where we're at right now. But we've also been remembering, we've been awakening, and we can see this through time and time for years and years now, how we are all remembering our power, and we're awakening to how we can be here and who we truly are. And we're ascending, and this earth is ascending anyway. So there's no battle to be lost or no thing we can do. This earth is ascending energetically anyway. This is my, what I believe. And I think for me, I go the tantric path. That means nothing sexual. Like, it doesn't even have to mean any sexual, I just want to say, because depending on what you know about tantra, it's like group sex and stuff, and that's not what I mean. What I'm talking about is we are in this physical body because we're here to enjoy it. We're here to be rooted in it. So my way is not ascension through ascension. My way is ascension through descension. It's about moving through the shadows, about moving through the body, having energy and feelings move through us. And I don't need them to go away. I don't want to override them. I don't want to change my feelings, because I understand I'm a vessel for life force energy in any form. And so for me, the tantric path is understanding I have feminine and masculine inside of me. They want to be married inside of me. So I have peace inside. And then I'll be able to bring this into my outside world. And the tantric part, the second part, just as a basic, is not wanting to ascend, but wanting to ascend through descension. I want to be in this body alive in this body, conscious in this body, and not through meditation, enlightened and beyond the body. We can incorporate meditation, all the things, but not to surpass the body, but to have it as one tool of many, to feel rooted and very much here on earth. So that is what I believe. And because I believe that, I understand that it's all for the soul evolution. I understand that we are all love. I understand that I can see you through the eyes of love. I can have compassion for you. I can understand that what I'm really here for is to remember who I truly am. I am love. I am whole. If I want to heal, it's not because I'm not whole. It's because I want to remember, and or I want to give space so that the physical pain can move that once got frozen inside, right? Like trauma. So when healing, I always mean either remembering wholeness and or giving space to what needs to move through me. Emotions, stuck energy, trauma energy, all that. And so in that, for me, it's much easier to feel, who do I want to be here? What is my purpose? What do I want to bring forth? Because I understand how I see this world. So regardless of if you resonated with what I just said, or it just really let you feel much stronger the way you feel, which is very different. Both is fine, or anything in between. Either way, I invite you to feel, why do you think we're here? How do you feel? What does this matter? How does this matter? What do you feel is the purpose of you being here on earth? Because depending on what you truly feel that is, live according to that, right? And let it be something that excites you, that feels expansive in your body, expansive in your body. Okay? The second thing that really helps me to understand my purpose on earth, a few things, but one of them is looking at my timeline up until this point. So here, I love the kids' version of Conversations with God, and it's the little soul that talks to God. Let me just quickly Google the name in English so I can let you know and you can get it in case you want to get it. It's Neil Donald Walsh, who also wrote Conversations with God. If you want to get these books or one of them, or just check them out or get them on Audible, check them out there. And the kids version is the little soul and the sun. The little soul and the sun, a children's parable. Yeah. And then there's also the little soul and the earth. These are great to understand that there's ultimately no good and bad. There's only love. And when there's bad, it's just that we forget. We forget our love. We forget that there's a way of love. We have learned a way of fear or scarcity, of separation. And that's why we act upon it. But if we remembered love, we would go this way. So what is spoken or written about in this book is that we decide to meet as souls in human form, especially when it's about something intense. So if I, in my life, for example, especially as a kid, experienced something traumatic, we probably have had a meeting on a soul level and said to each other, I'm going to give you that experience. And then the soul said, thank you. Thank you that I can experience this through you. And the other says, of course, you're welcome. Now, this might be a triggering perspective. And again, I'm offering it to you not to believe me or, go with me on this, but to feel yourself and feel your own truth in that. What is true for you? So it doesn't say that suffering is okay. It doesn't say that war is okay. It's just giving meaning and purpose to something that we feel oftentimes like, why would this even happen on earth? It makes no freaking sense. It makes no sense that there's such war and such pains. How could this even make sense? If we understand that on a soul level, we want to experience everything that there's to experience, and all the emotions and all the sensations and every way we could feel on earth, then we can understand that it is on a soul level interesting to experience even horrible things. Again, that doesn't say anyone deserves it. It doesn't make it okay on a human level. It's not. But it offers a perspective of it's all a co-creation. It's all meant for us to experience something. And if we want to explore what is a common thread in my life, what is my common topic that I've tackled in my life? So for me, for example, I always, as a kid, I felt too much, too loud. I took up too much space. So I dimmed that. I learned people pleasing is the way. Later, I felt not worthy as a girl and not as a woman at all. So I let a lot of things happen sexually and in all the ways that were not good for my feminine body, that shut down a lot of things in my body. And there was a lot of trauma that I had to really integrate to enjoy my femininity, my sexuality again. And I had to really build that self-worth, or remembering that that is my truth, because it is true. It's just I had to really remember in my body that that feels true. So when I look back on my life, I can see that that is a common thread. And I can see that that is who I'm here to be, because honestly, I've done this work for many years now, at least since 2017, and I've never wanted to stop. And the reason is I have a strong vision. I want to bring femininity back on earth. Through each woman, in each person, each man, each person. I want us to really feel whole again. I want us the ones to embody this, and therefore co-creating a new paradigm. You can wake me up in the sleep. I'll be motivated to make that vision true because it feels true in my body. It's all I ever wanted, and I didn't know how. And so if I can bring this forth for women, for girls, for our new paradigm, then I will. And that is something that you can contemplate, right? What is something that you truly embody? What is something that you're so skilled at? And that's what I said. There's more ways to go about this, because you can be logical and say, what is my skill set? What am I really good at? What am I really excited about? I have like beautiful little playful exercises. Like if you had a white room, just a whole white room for yourself, what would you do with it? If you could now decorate it and make it mean something and put furniture in, or whatever you would put in it, what would you do? So it could be something like, I'll make it a gym, I'll make it a sauna, right? Could be make it my gallery, could be anything. And it doesn't have to mean that it's about your purpose, but it could give you a hint to what you're here to do or be. It could be something like, if you do get magazines or audiobooks or books, then what are they about? Why do you love that topic so much? What excites you to speak about? What are topics that you really, really just feel so alive to think about or feel about or contemplate about? These are things that can help us see who we are here to be, what our legacy can really be, right? So that is something to contemplate. And it could be your past, a common thread, a common pattern in who you came here to be. If you look at your past, like a timeline situation, that's another little thing you could do. You could put a timeline on a paper and then put 5 points, like when you were 5 years old, 10, 15, and then depending on how old you are, 20, 25, 35, or 30, 40, 50, whatever, right? You just put that and put like what were major things that you experienced until then, and then in between those times, of course, right? So 5 to 10, what's the biggest thing that I remember that happened? 10 to 15 or 10 to 20, what's the biggest thing that I remember that happened and how I felt? And what I would have liked to know, probably, that could be a good thing, right? But then we can also expand and think about, what do I love to do, right? What is fun for me? What do I enjoy doing so much? What do I enjoy speaking about, doing, educating others about? So there's many, many ways we could go about this. The invitation, either way, is whatever you resonated with in this episode up until this point, is that you do that and you explore. Who am I here to be? What do I really believe in? If I could, what is it that I would let any human on this planet know? If I had a chance to put a belief in each person on this earth, or what belief would I put in their heads or in their bodies? If there's one thing I could change about this earth, what would it be? What is my vision? What is this sentence that excites me, that drives me? What do I love to do? And it can be many things, right? It can be many projects, many passions, many things. And it's not about finding the one thing, right? It's beyond just the mind that wants to have one thing or whatever. I want to know my purpose now. Like, that's not what it's about. It's about contemplating deeper who you are here to be and how you love this life. So I want to end on this note. How do you love this life? Enjoy this life. And contemplate that, really. Like, make a list of 10 things that you enjoy most. What are the things that you do, have, or be, or how you be, that you just love most? Like, if you could live like that every day, 10 things, experiences that you had, your surrounding, how it is, what you do in a day when you have that or do that, then that's great for you. Explore that, because the more you explore aliveness, joy, meaning, the more you can give meaning to everything that you do and how you live. And the intention for me, at least this podcast, has the idea to serve women who want to build a legacy, who want to leave something behind. So we understand we are the one. We understand we are the chosen one, and we choose to remember that we are the ones, to bring the love, to be strong, and not to be strong in like a masculine way where we like pull through and override our feelings, but stand in our feminine force, the kind of strength that feels true inside because it's born from intuition and creative force energy. So what do you bring to earth? What do you want to make your life mean? If it's a book you're writing, like the book of your life, what's the title? So I hope that all these contemplations gave you great ideas to contemplate and feel about and think about who you want to be here and how much more meaning you want to give your life. Now, at the end now, I want to say, yes, give it meaning. Yes, let's build a legacy. But if I understand one thing about how I see the world, it's about loving this life, having fun, enjoying, not taking it so seriously. In the end, I do believe it's some sort of simulation for us to experience in, some sort of computer game, and we're just in it. Some sort of playground for our souls to play on. So expand, enjoy, have fun. You can't do it wrong. You can't mess up. It's life while doing this. We're all doing life. We're just learning how to do this, all of us, again and again, or the more we go. So contemplate, enjoy, find deeper meaning, but don't forget that we're here to have fun. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you next time. That was today's episode of the Woman's Legacy podcast show. I hope this episode and whole podcast serves you. And if it does, I invite you to leave a 5-star review on iTunes or rank the podcast 5 stars on whatever platform you listen, and or subscribe, comment, or share. Whatever feels right to you, so we can let all trailblazers and pioneers know that this podcast is out there, here to serve and support. Thank you. From one trailblazer to another, I deeply appreciate you rising for you, your immediate environment, and for this world. I look forward to catch you next time. Yours, Julia.